And CS George Magoha warns school heads against sending learners home for lack of school fees.
Yippee! Kamata floating at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the City Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, insists the disputed presidential election was conducted within the parameters of the law. While submitting both manual and electronic results declaration forms as directed by the Supreme Court today, the Commission says it has nothing to hide, inviting the court to make its own independent findings. Our reporter Henry Tende has this story.
On Wednesday, IEBC commissioners led by CEO Majan Hussein Majan arrived at the Milimani Law Courts to submit documents as directed by the courts in a presidential election results dispute pitting the commission against Azimio One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga. The polls agency arriving with all forms 34A, 34B, 34C and 34D in both physical and electronic formats. These are the forms that were used by the Commission to tally and declare results at polling stations, constituency and national tallying centers. The forms are the genesis of a rejected presidential results as declared by IEBC National Returning Officer Wafula Chebukati. After successfully filing the documents with the Supreme Court Registry, IEBC commissioners led by Majan Hussein Majan have reiterated their stand that the law was followed to the latter in conducting the August 9th elections.
Election is a very regulated process. We have followed the election law to the letter. We are very confident that there is no any violation of any procedures, rules or regulation. But that is why we have court. It is court to determine.
The Commission, moreover, says it has nothing to hide and has invited the courts to make their own independent findings on whether or not the exercise was marred with malpractices.
And certified copies of Form 34B and certified copy of Form 34C and Form 34D. Those are the things we have submitted and actually received by court. Now it is in court custody, so we are done with our obligation of submitting those election materials to the court as per the court rules and regulations.
In the prayers before the Supreme Court, the Azimio team had requested that the electoral agency provides all the forms within 48 hours of filing their case as the cornerstone of their evidence. Azimio Brigade remaining convinced the forms contain noticeable errors that are crucial in their quest to overturn the decision of IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati. The hearing of the petition officially kicks off on Tuesday next week, with the final judgment expected on 5th of September this year. IEBC has officially submitted documents as required by law in a petition pitting it against Azimio leader Raila Odinga. Now the burden of proof is on Azimio's legal team to show there were serious electoral malpractices that interfered with the election. Henry Tende, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Azimio la Umoja presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga has asked the IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati to disqualify himself from overseeing the upcoming Mombasa and Kakamega gubernatorial elections. Speaking in Mombasa County, where he drummed up support for Mombasa candidate Abdul Somad Nasir, Odinga maintained that he won the August 9th election.
For the first time since the announcement of the presidential results, The Azimio One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga has appeared on a campaign trail in Mombasa County to drum up support for Mombasa gubernatorial candidate Abdul Somad Nasir.
Siku ya Jumatatu wajitokeze wote kwa wingi waende wapige kura kwa Abdul Somad Nasir.
Odinga used the platform to share his expectation to the Supreme Court, asking the Apex Court to declare him as the presidential winner in the August general polls. In a rejoinder, his running mate Martha Karua stated that the Azimio team won the election, but they were denied victory.
Mtu ambaye hachoki kutetea wa Kenya. Kama ni mtu wa kawaida, yale amepitia angesema wacha ikae. Lakini hachoki kutafuta haki ya Mkenya.
The Azimio think tank took swipe at the IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, alleging that he is not capacitated to conduct Mombasa and Kakamega mini elections. Odinga now want the IEBC vice chairperson Juliana Cherera to conduct the election.
Tunasema hizi uchaguzi itafanywa chini ya usimamizi ya naibu wa chairman ya IEBC. Bwana Chebukati kama mshtakiwa disqualify himself, ajiondoe katika hii uchaguzi ambao unaendelea, awajifanye na wale watu ambaye hawana upendeleo.
It is a statement that the IEBC immediately thwarted through its Twitter account, saying that Odinga is out of order, that the IEBC will not take part in the Mombasa elections, which again raises eyebrows on who exactly is general overseer of the election in the country.
Nyinyi ni watu wa Kakamega, mlifanyiwa njama kubwa sana, lakini nyinyi wenyewe hamna makosa. Nyinyi vile vile hamkuwa nyinyi mnalengwa. Kakamega na Mombasa ililengwa kwa sababu ya baba na Martha huyu.
Shadrack Kareria, Lookup TV.
Away from that color riot on stage, Kenya Kwanza candidates for Kakamega and Mombasa gubernatorial elections, Cleophas Malala and Omar Hassan respectively, have intensified their bids to win the two seats. The election is slated for the 29th of August. The candidates have urged supporters to turn out in large numbers to vote for them.
With only 5 days to the mini gubernatorial elections in Kakamega and Mombasa counties, candidates have put the best foot forward, campaigning to be the next county bosses. In Kakamega County, ANC candidate rolling on Kenya Kwanza flag, Cleophas Malala, has expressed doubt with the IEBC officials mandated to conduct the elections.
Mnavyojua kwamba tuko na uchaguzi tarehe 29 mwezi wa 8, na ningependa kuambia wale wafuasi wetu kwamba tuko tayari, tumejitayarisha vilivyo kwa uchaguzi huo, wasiwe na shaka. Tunahimiza tu watu wetu waende wapige kura. Tuko na mikakati ya kutosha ya kulinda kura yetu. Kuna watu ambao wako na dhana kwamba kura yetu inaweza ibiwa. Ningependa kuambia hakuna kura yetu itaibiwa hata moja. Tumeweka mikakati katika kila polling station kuhakikisha kwamba ile kura ambayo unaenda kupiga kama mfuasi wangu inaenda kuchungwa vilivyo.
On his part, Kakamega returning officer Joseph Ayata has assured residents of a free and fair elections and that the commission is prepared for the elections.
Tisa kama POs, kwa POs again on 29th. I can assure you there will be so many changes. Yeah, the people that they think they were POs may find themselves not POs at all. They may find themselves not working at all. Hata wale walikuwa clerks, some of them watajipata kama POs because all of them are trained. Yeah, so we just do refresher training for all of them and they know what they're doing.
Meanwhile, Kenya Kwanza Alliance has continued with their campaigns for the Mombasa gubernatorial seat while receiving defectors from various political parties who joined to campaign for UDA candidate Hassan Omar. Hassan Omar and his running mate Selina Maitha have urged their supporters to come in big numbers and vote for them, while promising to curb plans to disrupt peace during the elections.
Tumepata wafuasi wengi sana kutoka vile vyama pinzani, yale mirengo pinzani ambao wamekuja kushirikiana na sisi. Manake Mwenyezi Mungu katika kuahirisha huu uchaguzi imechomoza ni nani maadui wa hii county, na ule mtazamo na msimamo watu wanataka kuchukua ili kuhakikisha maadui wa huu county wamewekwa kikomo cha full stop.
Wananchi wa Mombasa, tunawaomba tushirikiane na nyinyi tarehe 29 ili kuleta hadhi ya Mombasa mikononi mwetu tena. Mombasa ni yetu sote. Tunahitaji hii Mombasa tuirudishe kwa hali inayofaa. Ikiwa ni Mombasa ni kaunti ya kwanza katika Kenya hii, tunataka tushirikiane na wewe tuifanye kaunti ya kwanza kwa kuboresha maendeleo katika hii kaunti.
Edinjon Mokora, Lookup TV.
As the new government prepares to start operations ahead of the Supreme Court hearing, political and party realignments are taking center stage, with William Ruto receiving elected members of parliament who are defecting from the Azimio coalition as he seeks to have a majority in both houses.
Defections in the political arena are not something new. They happen almost every minute as elected members traverse the corridors of different political parties in search of political survival. President-elect William Ruto recently received a number of independent and UDM party members to add to his Kenya Kwanza side, all in search of the majority in parliament. Did the move come too soon, or is it a political tactic from a student of former President Daniel Arap Moi that seeks to emasculate what will be the opposition? We sit down with governance expert and political analyst Kevin Osido.
And if you look at the numbers, already what we see is that UDA more or less has about 4 members of parliament up higher than Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance. So the DP's party is also interested in ensuring that certain positions are captured. For example, the speaker position is a position that calls for members to lobby and members to be able to vote for the person that is presented by the ruling party. And so in this case, it looks like the deputy president is already arming up to also whip up the members of Azimio and maybe to boost his number.
Ruto's move has, however, been termed as a disregard of the law by the Azimio running mate Martha Karua, since the UDM party members are linked to Azimio by law following their pre-election agreement. Of what consequences then will their actions amount to?
To be honest with you, I will say nothing, because this kind of precedence has been set by the 11th Parliament, that is Jubilee 2013, and also the 12th Parliament, that is Jubilee, and also ODM. And what the law says, the Political Parties Act, is that any member who proscribes and campaigns, advocates for the policies of another member, automatically is deregistered. And in fact, what should happen is that the Speaker is supposed to deregister them and declare those constituencies vacant, and a by-election is called. If you were to do that, you would probably see the entire country having a by-election. An election would have actually come 4 years before the 2022 elections, that is 2018.
Should Ruto be sworn in as president, what then will be the place of the opposition in his government?
In fact, the 12th Parliament did very dismally, performed very dismally because of what you are raising, where the Jubilee Party more or less took over one of the 3 arms of government, which is basically the legislature. And we do not see very progressive laws that were passed by the 12th Parliament that did not really have either legislative interference or did not get to the level of the judiciary. So if you talk about the Security Amendments Bill, it went to the judiciary level.
Defectors have been warned by the Azimio coalition, with the Jubilee Party issuing a statement saying those seeking to defect risk losing their seats. But the question remains why they need to align with the government and what happens to those who don't. With Ruto's latest harvest, the president-elect now has a majority in parliament against Azimio. In the Senate, the DP controls the majority against Azimio. The worry on whether there will be substantive debates in parliament if a government has majority in both houses is a subject of debate. But based on history of the previous parliaments, there is fear that a weak opposition and a government that has a majority in both houses would mean laws that might be in favor of the government and subjective to the people will pass without much next question, giving the government a ride in the park.
The speakers and the leadership of the assemblies also need to help Kenyans. Because if we do not have people following the law, or we have this enhanced mechanism of impunity within the legislature or parliament, then even the quality of the laws that are passed are going to be compromised.
The move to have majority in parliament, both at the national and county level, is however also necessitated by the fear of impeachment motion on the president or the governor. Brian Amuai, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
You're watching the news on Look Up TV. We shall have more for you after this break. Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni has dismissed William Ruto's win as president-elect in the August 9th polls, especially in the Mount Kenya region. Kioni has termed the win as a result of pure rigging and a lack of transparency and fairness, as he highlighted that Jubilee Party agents were denied the right to access polling stations and monitor the election process.
Hereby declares that Ruto William Samoei.
Just slightly over a week after William Ruto was declared president-elect by the IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati, rigging accusations are progressively erupting from the Azimio brigade, the most recent one being that of Jubilee Secretary General's utterances, claiming that William Ruto, in conjunction with his party members, unfairly won the general elections.
Sehemu ambazo tumetoka kupiga uchaguzi tarehe 9. Na sehemu ambazo zinaitwa Mount Kenya, na sana zile ambao zina Wakikuyu idadi kubwa kuliko kwingineko, hakuna uchaguzi ulifanyika. Na pia wao pia wanachagaa ni kwa nini ballot boxes zilikuwa zinaonekana zimejaa tangu walipoingia mpaka mwisho. Walikuwa wanauza hao watu ambao walipiga kura walikuwa kina nani?
In his scathing address, Kioni stated that the voter turnout in Mount Kenya was too low to support Ruto's win in the area, even as he mentioned that there was voter bribery. Hence, the data supporting Ruto's win is sheer theft and propaganda.
Idadi ya wale ambao walitokea kupiga kura haikufika ile ambao tunaambiwa na IEBC, sijui 50% ama 60%. ama ilikuwa chini ya 40%, 40% kwenda chini. Agents wetu kwa kila station walikuwa wanapatiwa ni kama kulikuwa na instruction moja ya kwamba hauwezi ukaingia kwa polling station kwa sababu barua yako haijapigwa muhuri. Kwa hivyo agents wetu hawakuingia kwa polling station mapema ya saa 4. Wote walikuwa wanaingia kuanzia saa 4 kurudi nyuma. Nini ilikuwa inafanyika kuanzia saa 12 ama saa 11 mpaka saa 4.
In addition, the Jubilee Secretary General has insisted that Azimio's presidential candidate Raila Odinga is the people's winner, further claiming that nepotism at the constituency level among people allied to William Ruto and corruption largely contributed to Ruto's win in the August 9th polls.
Tumepata kujua kwamba kama kule Nakuru wale ambao ndio walikuwa deputy returning officers kati ya 11 ambao waliajiriwa Nakuru, 10 walikuwa wametoka kwa kabila moja. Mmoja tu ndio alikuwa ameajiriwa kutoka Turkana. Wale ambao walisaidiwa kupiga kula. Na kwa sababu ni watu ambao wanatusikia na ni wa Kenya, ni vizuri wajue ya kwamba hii mambo ya kufanya udanganyifu kwa kula, hata Mwenyezi Mungu atakulani wewe mwenyewe. Akina mama ambao walifanya hao na wazee na wengine tunawajua wanajua kusoma, anaingia kwa polling station anasema hajui kusoma, lakini pia amewaweka agents wetu kule kwa kona. Hapa anauliza swali, mama unataka kupigia nani kura? Kuna vyama vingi hapa, kuna UDA na hizo zingine, unataka gani? Na mama anasema hiyo umesema.
Shalil Mwende, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha today visited various schools in Nairobi in a bid to ensure all competence-based curriculum classes are ready. Magoha has promised that all infrastructure will be in place before he vacates office.
Speaking at Muhuri Mushiri Secondary School here in Nairobi, Professor George Magoha was confident that all CBC classrooms will be completed countrywide before his tenure ends, with only 15% remaining.
We are at 85% plus, which means we are working against time for 15%. Most of the uncompleted classrooms are at roofing or walling level.
However, he expressed concerns at the rate of construction of the classrooms in Elgeyo-Marakwet County, while lauding the Nandi County government, among others, for the brilliant work done.
The Rift Valley is quite large. There are some counties there like Nandi that are doing extremely well. There are also others that are struggling, like Elgeyo-Marakwet, and we are sure that we shall be able to reach our targets.
Magoha was adamant that schools will complete the syllabus on time to ensure candidates have enough time for revision ahead of the national examinations. In Nairobi County, Magoha noted that the government had approved 150 standard laboratories to be used for the curriculum, further promising students with special needs that their facilities will be completed on time.
Well, our special needs institutions are special, as you know, and so we are paying a little bit more attention to them. You know, we usually give, even under normal circumstances, an extra 50,000 shillings to them. So we are not unduly worried. Maybe you are worried because you have not seen me going to open classrooms there. But there are ways and means by which we take special needs, and the ways and needs by which they move from one grade to another.
With 85% of the CBC classrooms completed, Professor Magoha insists that it is now a race against time to complete the 15%. Ian Keitani, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Kimilili Member of Parliament-elect Didmas Baraza has denied charges of shooting Brian Olunga on election day. The MP has been released on a bail of 10 million shillings.
Mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu ukiwa Chebukwabi Village, Kibingei location, Kimilili sub-county, Bungoma county, unashukiwa kumuua Brian Odinga Olunga. Ni kweli au si kweli?
Kimilili MP-elect Didmas Baraza has been released on a 10 million shillings bond in a murder case where he is being embroiled in shooting dead an aide to his competitor. Ryan Kaemba of DAP Kenya Party at a polling station in Bungoma. The autopsy revealed that the aide, Mr. Brian Olunga, succumbed to excessive bleeding after he was shot at a close range on the head. The deceased has been buried in Malava constituency. Meanwhile, in Bungoma, police have launched investigations on the bizarre murder of a resident of Blue Waves. The body of the lady was found covered in several blankets, decaying in her house.
Tumepata hii ripoti kwa mshangao. Beti tuliongea kwa simu Ijumaa, ikiwa ananiambia atakuja nyumbani. Tumekimbia kufika hapa, tumempata, amewawa, ako na majeraha, na amefunikwa mablanketi mingi, ametiwa na maduve. Harufu inatoka kwa nyumba, mainzi imejaa, na tumeshangaa sana, na tunashutumu hicho kitendo. Serikali ikaweza kutusaidia.
According to the eyewitnesses, it is the stench from the allegedly butchered body in the house that alerted the neighbors.
Nilikuwa nimekuja town asubuhi, nikaona watu wamejaa Elegant opposite, nikashangaa shida ni nini. Ikabidi nisimamishe pikipiki yangu na nifike mahali hapo. Vile nilifika mahali hapo, nikaona mtu ameuawa ako kwa nyumba. Kuenda kuangalia ni mtu mwenye mimi najua. Anatoka tu nyumbani kwetu Nangwe, na ikabidi nipigie watu wa nyumbani simu, ikabidi nipigie majirani simu ili wafike mahali hapo ili tuone yenye naendelea. Hatujui aliuawa kwa nini, kwa sababu amechinjwa kama ng'ombe, na hatujajua kwa sababu ya hiyo ndiyo alifanya, sababu ndio akamuua. Kwa sababu majirani wa hiyo boma hawako. Kila landlord pia yeye hayuko.
Mudeunda Lana, Lookup TV.
Police in Athi River are holding a 40-year-old man who allegedly allowed his 9-year-old son to drive along Mombasa Road. Traffic police officers controlling traffic noticed the minor driving a saloon car in full school uniform, but when he was flagged down, he accelerated towards Athi River Township.
The police report, the police officers manning traffic along Mombasa Road noticed the minor driving a saloon in full school uniform, but when he was flagged down, he accelerated towards Athi River Township. Police pursued the vehicle and it was impounded before entering into a private school in Athi River, where the two minors school.
Kwanza ndiye alikuwa anaendesha gari. So tukakutana na askari akiendesha gari. Na nikasimamishwa.
A man suspected to be the kid's father was later apprehended and taken to Athi River police station, accompanied by the two minors for further interrogation.
Nakwanga na control. I'm like his co-driver. So if anything happens, I'm there to assist. Yeah.
And in further questioning, he alleges that his son is a first driver and he has been driving for the last 2 years. Athi River Police Boss Mary Njoki has cautioned parents against allowing underage children to drive vehicles, saying it endangers other motorists and it's contrary to the Traffic Act.
Yes, parents should not allow their underage children to drive vehicles. It is against the law. The law requires that one get a license, and a license is issued to anyone of the age of 18 years and above. Wakati unapompea mtoto gari aliendeshe, unahatarisha maisha yake mwenyewe na maisha ya wengine barabarani. Kwa hivyo ninashauri wazazi wetu wasiwaruhusu watoto wao kuendesha magari kama hawajahitimu miaka inayoruhusiwa na serikali.
Others are still tagging along, and George Wakoya's running mate, Justina Omaya, said she will not honor the summons to appear before the disciplinary committee over her conduct. Speaking in Nairobi, Omaya's spokesperson stated that Justina has not gone against any rules of the party, and thus she did not deserve any punishment.
by Roots Party inviting Justina for a disciplinary because allegedly she had made media utterances that were not in line with the party's constitution. But here they are saying that she acknowledged the victory of a competitor via a tweet. The difference between her acknowledging via a tweet and Professor Wajakoya congratulating the winner in Bomas, and everyone saw this. There are videos all over. He shook hands with the President-elect William Ruto. So he was the first one to congratulate the President-elect on his victory. Now the only difference between Professor Wajakoya and Justina was Justina acknowledged via a tweet. Now they are calling it a disciplinary action, of which now we have said that we are not going to allow that one. But we began noticing some funny things. For example, you wouldn't believe, but the manifesto launch was paid by Azimio. Now that's where now things started falling apart. We never knew we were a project until we realized that the launch of manifesto had been paid by Azimio, to be put side by side by His Excellency the President-elect to frustrate his campaign.
Equity Bank says the growth of technology in business has reduced the fixed cost of its operations. CEO James Mwangi says this as he announced the financial report of the half-year ending June. Equity's profits grew by 36% to shillings 24.4 billion from 17.9 billion last year.
Announcing the result, Equity Bank Managing Director Dr. James Mwangi announced that the result was on the back of the transformation of the business model to a technology-driven business that saw the reduced fixed costs of its operation.
Total income grew by 26%. We were able to generate profit after tax of 24.4 billion, up from 17.9, a 36% profit growth. And
Equity's profit grew by 36% to 24.4 billion shillings from 17.9 billion shillings last year. The company's net interest grew from 31.2 billion shillings in 2021 to 39.8 billion shillings in 2022, marking a 28% increase on their total assets. The company recorded a 19% growth from 1.1 trillion shillings in 2021 to 1.33 trillion shillings in 2022. Mwangi noted that the loans grew by 29% to 650.6 billion shillings in 2022 from 504.8 billion shillings in 2021, with 43% of the loans going to MSMEs sector.
Interest income on loans growing at 21%, but we are seeing non-funded income growing at 23%, and that gives us huge comfort that the high quality streams of income are growing faster than interest income.
Dr. James Mwangi, while announcing the result, said the company's strategy on leveraging on regional markets, especially East African community, will continue into the year as the bank look to transition into a Pan-African bank.
The strategy we have adopted is the African Recovery and Resilience Plan. As you can see, it's not a Kenyan plan, it's a regional plan, it's a continental plan, because we have realized the only thing that can support us to succeed is the market. And the market, the larger the market, the better. So that is why we have leveraged on the East African Community Common Market and leveraged on the African Continental Free Trade Area, the Commonwealth arrangements. 21 African countries are in that market, and seeing how we can leverage on market capabilities.
Edwin John Mukora, Look Up Business.
Flights through the streets of
Into the day's sport now. The national cricket team is hoping to perform well at the All-Africa Championships scheduled for September in South Africa. The team faced financial challenges last year, causing it to miss out on international matches.
UAF
Afrika kitu nimefanya kama kocha mkuu, nimeshaongea na ofisi, nimewambia tutachanganya hiyo timu inaenda ya Afrika, because hapo pia ndio tutapatia wachezaji wapya na wale wachezaji wadogo opportunity ya kucheza international cricket. So hapo tutafanya mabadiliko kidogo, lakini bado tuwe ni serious, lakini tutafanya mabadiliko kidogo ndio pia tuweze kukuza wachezaji wengine, tu expand hiyo base ya wachezaji. No, tutachanganya.
KCB FC beat Islanders 3-1 in a pre-season friendly match played at Camp Toyoyo. Henry Ochieng on the back of the net in the first half to give the Bankers an early lead before Alan Ogedo and Kennedy Owino's strikes into stoppage time granted the team a deserved win. The Bankers have also completed the signing of defenders Maurice Juang and Kevin Otieno, who will fill in the boots of departed Robinson Kamura and Baraka Badi. The Dakar Otieno's side has lost the services of last season's top scorer Derek Otanga, who is set to join Algerian top flight side CS Constantine.
Okay, thank you. I feel so proud to be here at KCB. Okay, I think ndo mweze kuachieve, lazima mutie bidii na experience pia usaidia. Juu mimi sisemi ati niko experience peke yangu, though niko na ile experience, nimecheza kidogo ligi which is CAF, but sasa pia kuna experience kwa hii team. Sasa tukicombine hivi ndo tunaweza kuachieve. Okay, preparation is going on, so kila kitu itakuwa rahisi so long as tunapiga kitu inatakikana hapa, so kwa game itakuwa tu rahisi. So hiyo ndo target yetu sasa, tushinde tupebe ligi. Mtaniona kesho, leo sitacheza chumbango ya coach pia wesi ukalazimisha akuchezesha. Yeah.
I think for us, we have met our objective because these friendly matches, pre-season friendly matches, results doesn't matter as such, but it's what your objective was coming into the game. For us, we were looking for some playing minutes in the boys' legs, and we got them. So we are very, very happy because we didn't have any injury, because like you know, when you're playing these pre-season friendlies, most of the time injuries.
Kenya will be looking to improve its rankings in the Men's International Cricket Council T20 standings when it takes on Nepal in a 2-week bilateral series at the Nairobi Gymkhana Club. The 2-week series will come to an end September the 5th. The two teams will face off in 5 T20 matches and 3 one-day international matches. The tournament will mark a return to international cricket competitions on Kenyan soil after many years.
But now also the format changes. That has been a 50-over format. Now we are back to 20-over format, and that's why I've brought in 3 senior players who are more all-rounders, so they'll be trying to play that role and filling those gaps towards the end. So I've got 3, Elijah, I've got Nehemiah, Nelson, and Lucas, who will be trying to fill that gap towards the end.
Flies through the streets of Central Park in New York.
Thank you for watching the news on Look Up TV. My name is Otieno. Have a good night.